our vibrancy as we age, that emotional, that physical vibrancy and health we feel, is connected to us feeling like we are a part of a community or our relationships with other people. The more isolated we are, the more alone we feel. It is truly a detriment to our health. The truth of the matter is that many of us feel alone, especially as we get older, and especially in life and society right now in this time and place. And so I just am thankful that we can have this open and honest conversation with each other. I'm Jessica Valant. I'm a physical therapist, women's health expert, and Pilates teacher, and my goal is to help all women feel strong, safe, and secure in their bodies. In this podcast, I'll share expert advice, facts, amazing guests, stories, compassion, and hope to help you meet your body in all seasons of life. Hey, welcome back to Meet Your Body. We are talking today about how to make friends as an adult. And I actually have gotten so many questions and comments about this specific subject. It started, I would say, about a year and a half ago when we moved, and we just moved 20 minutes from our old house. But we're in kind of a new community. New school was the biggest one. And I had posted about how I was kind of missing some of my mom friends from the previous school and just, the conversations we would have at pickup and those kind of things. And I had so many comments from you all talking about that same subject, about how lonely it can feel as an adult, about how hard it can feel to make friends. And so I actually took some notes in October. It was a year, I guess, ago. I have my notes here. I took some notes a year ago wanting to talk about this. And so we're finally doing it today. And I feel like truly it's something that we might kind of laugh about. I mean, I'm already laughing about it. We might laugh about it or pass it off or say, oh, it's not that big a deal in my real life. But truly, I know it is. Like, I absolutely feel in my bones how important this sense of community is. And it's really been hitting me, even more so in the past few months, in the past year, as it just feels like community is so important and also can be hard. It can be hard in a busy life. It can be hard online sometimes when it feels like everything is moving online and we're constantly on screens. And I think it can, honestly, just be hard in this day right now in our society where things can feel really volatile. It can feel really like we question what we should say, what we shouldn't say. It just can feel really isolating. And I have felt that personally, and I am guessing a lot of you out there have felt that too, that feeling of isolation, of feeling alone sometimes, of feeling a want and a need for community and friendship, but not knowing really how to go about it. And so I am just here today with some thoughts. I am not an expert in this topic whatsoever. I just have some thoughts as a 47-year-old woman who probably feels like you do, a need for connection, a need for community, for deep conversations, for people who see me for who I am, and also feeling like, gosh, that can be really hard. That can be really, really hard sometimes. And then also watching my kids try to navigate their friendships. So I'm just here, like I said, with some thoughts around all of this. And please stay tuned next week on Meet Your Body when I have an amazing guest coming on and we're talking about truly the power of community. She has written books about this, about the power of community. And so I just thought this episode would be kind of a good precursor to that, because truly our health is partially dependent on that idea of community. We have studies and research that shows that the health of the community truly will impact the health of an individual. And in addition to that, our vibrancy as we age, that emotional, that physical vibrancy and health we feel, is connected to us feeling like we are a part of a community or our relationships with other people. The more isolated we are, the more alone we feel. It is truly a detriment to our health. So I think it's a conversation that's truly important and really worth having to put it out there. The truth of the matter is that many of us feel alone, especially as we get older, and especially in life and society right now in this time and place. And so I just am thankful that we can have this open and honest conversation with each other. So even though you might be listening to this alone, you might be on a walk, you might be in your car, you might be watching your kids' soccer practice with your headphones on, just know that you aren't really alone. There are thousands of other women around the world listening to this with you right now. So I want us to first keep in mind a few things as we talk about friendships, because that can be, we can just say that kind of right off the cuff of, oh, I just want more friends. I want to know people more. I want to communicate more. But it can go a little deeper than that. And I think it's really important to recognize these few things as we then get into some tips about how to make or keep friends. So something I heard, this was a while back on a podcast actually, and it was with Brene Brown. And she and the host were talking about friendships and yes, how important they are. But also, they then discussed how if you just have even one or two really close friends, really close relationships in your life, you've won the lottery. And that was really important for me to hear because I can feel pressure sometimes from things I listen to, pictures I see on social media. You guys, I mean, I see them too. These women who seem to have a gaggle of close female friends and they go on girls' trips together and they have matching outfits. I mean, things, and my heart says, oh my gosh, I want that. And I'll be honest, I don't have that. Now, again, completely honest, I have amazing women in my life. Amazing, amazing women in my life. I am truly so grateful and so thankful. And these women are in different parts of my life, different walks of my life, different times of my life. So I am extremely lucky. And also, no, I don't have like that one solid group of girlfriends, from maybe college or elementary school, like some people do. I don't have a sister. I know a lot of people have a sister. I don't have a sister. And so for me, friendships do take work. So sometimes when I see, again, women with these big groups of friends, I feel that little pang of, oh gosh, I guess I need more friends. When they say I need friendships, I need more. So hearing her say that just one or two really close friends, you should feel like you won the lottery. That helped me so much to put it into perspective and just to be grateful. Like, oh my gosh, I am truly grateful. I do have those few good friends. And so that has helped me a lot to, again, just kind of put that into perspective. Another thing to keep in mind as you're thinking through friendships is, what do you have to give and what do you kind of want to receive from a friendship? Like, what season of life are you in right now? That also has been really important to me. It's kind of some introspection, right? That you want some self-awareness. And so when I say that about, big girl trips and going out of town for a week with girlfriends, I also am very aware that that is not something I would do right now. I don't want to be away from my kids really at all. And when I do leave for a work trip, it's like one night max. I'll go for two if I need to. And even that is pushing it for me. And that's just self-awareness. That's all. I'm not going to apologize for it, but I'm also not going to try to change it at this phase in my life. It will change as my kids get older, but that is where I am. I am truly an older mom. So whereas a lot of my girlfriends have kids who are graduating, from high school and they're starting to have some more time to maybe travel together, I am choosing to be here during this season for myself. So I think that self-awareness is just really important, because sometimes we look at other people who might have these great big friendships and we think, gosh, I wish I had that. But then we're not really fully aware of, oh, but actually that might not even truly fit into my life. Or maybe people have asked me and invited me to things and I've said no because it hasn't worked out for me. So make sure you kind of have that awareness of what do you have to give truly to a friendship? What do you want to receive from a friendship? What kind of time do you have to put into it? What's your personality? Again, be really, really honest. Have people, like before you kind of get upset that you're not being invited to things, have people invited you in the past and you've said no? My husband and I talk about that a lot. When we moved here to our new community a year ago, and also when we moved to, I practiced this lesson because I had it in place, but I first learned it when we moved to Hawaii years ago. And it was just us. We didn't have kids yet. We did not have friends there yet. And we wanted a beach lifestyle. So we moved to Hawaii. And we said to ourselves, we were going to say yes to every invitation we got. Every opportunity, every invitation we got, it was going to be a yes for that first year, whether we really wanted to do it or not. Truly, whether we knew someone or not, whether we were comfortable or not, we were going to say yes. We were going to build that network. And we did. And it was such an amazing experience. And it just proved so fruitful. I mean, we branched out in different ways. We met people in different walks of life that we wouldn't have necessarily if we just stayed within our bubble and our comfort zone. And that doesn't mean all of those people became our friends or lifelong friends, but we made connections, we got experiences, and we kind of had that same thought process with us when we moved to our new community too. Like neighborhood cleanups, any invitation from neighbors, it was going to be a yes, at least for the first year, to really meet people, to put ourselves out there, to put our face out there. And so those kind of things, like again, that self-awareness of, okay, if I want to meet people, I actually need to put myself out there also. That's just really important to know. And it is okay if you're not in a place that you feel like you can do that or you want to do that, but then you might need to change your expectations around how many people are going to be in your life, or how many opportunities you might have. And again, that's fine, but it's just really, really important to have that kind of self-awareness. So be realistic about what you have to give, what you have to receive, and also who you are. Like if you're really introverted, maybe you're not going to go out to the biggest parties, and you don't need to feel bad about that, but you just need to be honest about it. You're going to have to find your friendships and your community in a different way. Another thing to keep in mind that's been really important to me is friendships really do and can come and go. And that is the natural order of things. People might be very right for you in a certain season of life, and then you both grow apart. Seasons of life change, and that's okay. You can move on from that if it's not right for you anymore. And again, I think that's important because we kind of have, I feel at least, a pressure sometimes, either from myself or again, I see other people with these lifelong friendships from elementary school. And I think, oh, that's who I need to reach out to. That's who I need to find, or I need to keep friends forever. Sometimes, yes. And that is beautiful when it happens. And also sometimes you can have friends for just a couple years while your kids go to school with each other. You can have friends during that new mom phase. You can have friends when you have a certain job, and it's okay if it changes when you move on. Giving ourselves that permission can feel really important too. And then I think the last thing I just want to cover to keep in mind as we get into, how to make friends, how to keep friends as an adult is friendships take work. Period. End of story. They do. And when I really wrapped my mind around that, it helped me to know how much work I needed to put into it. And that if I wasn't putting that work in, then the friendships might fade away. And again, that's okay if that's your choice, but it's really good awareness to have that they do take effort and work. So you need to be willing to put some of that work in. Now, that being said, when I say they take work, I mean, I need to take time for a phone call. I need to shoot a text every now and then. I need to make sure that if I'm going on a hike, I throw it out. Oh yeah, I would love to have a chat with this person. I'm going to see if they can come with me. That's what I mean by work. It takes some front of mind planning to keep the connection. I do want to say, I don't think it should take work in that you are dropping your boundaries around what you need for an emotionally healthy life. I don't think it should take work, meaning you need to give reasons for who you are, if that makes sense. Like someone is still demanding that you be who you were 10 years ago and you have changed and they won't accept who you are now. I don't think friendships should take that kind of work. And I've also had friendships that did take that work. And when I finally was willing to, with peace, let those friendships go, my life felt a lot lighter. And so it can go both ways. So just know when I say they take work, I mean a little bit of effort to talk to that person, to make time for that person, just like you would for a partner or a spouse. You are going to need to find time on your calendar, find time in your days to check in with that person. That's what I mean by taking work. But no, I don't believe that you should have to always feel like you're defending yourself, always feel like you're dropping your boundaries for someone, always feel like you're trying to have to speak up for yourself. That's a little bit different type of work. So I want to make sure that I clarify that. All right, so those are the things to keep in mind as we get into some of my tips. So these are just, again, my tips from my experience in life and what I have found to be true. One is to hang on to old friends that are worth it to you, meaning it makes sense. You still connect, you still have great memories together, and you still have something to give and offer each other now. You support one another. Those kind of friendships are worth hanging on to. And it absolutely is. I mean, this is the case across all of life. We say this in business all the time, that it takes less energy to keep a current customer than to find a new customer. That's a really common business saying. And I think it's true in friendships and life. It's going to take less energy to maintain one of those old meaningful friendships than to build a new one. So if you are wondering where your friends are going to come from, how you're going to make new friends, maybe first you can ask yourself, you know what, is there someone in my life that I can just reach out to? And I'm really excited to rebuild that connection. Or I just haven't talked to that person in a year, but you know what? My heart is really telling me to reach out. I'm going to shoot that person a text. Again, I am not saying rebuild old relationships that don't serve you anymore. I'm saying if there's someone in your life that you know is meaningful, that supports you, that feels good to your heart, then that's my first tip, is maintain that friendship. Hang on to the ones that are meaningful, hang on to the ones that are special, and put your effort there. So the next one, my next tip, is to kind of ask yourself, where do you need or want support? Just again, in your life in general. Is it wanting to be with other new moms? Or is it wanting to be with other moms of middle schoolers or high schoolers or other empty nesters? Like, where are you in your life? Are you a caretaker and you feel like, gosh, it would really be helpful if I could just talk to someone else who understands my situation, who is also caring for a spouse, who is also caring for a parent? Are you going through something like a diagnosis and you think, gosh, that's the kind of friendship I need? I need support in that area right now. That's really important to kind of ask yourself, is where are you feeling like you want some support? In what area do you feel like, gosh, it's really important to me that someone in that area can kind of relate or can understand? And in that case, find support groups, find groups maybe online, in person, where people might understand that specifically. For example, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I decided to put it out there. I mean, and I will say my life is very much online, and there are personal things and family things that I do not put out online because they're not my stories to tell. My breast cancer diagnosis was my story to tell, and I felt it was important to let you all know, because you are going to see me going through treatment anyway through video. So I put it out there. It was truly amazing to me, the people who reached out. I mean, so many of you did, and I'm so, so grateful. And the ones that really helped me the most were the women who had been through it before, who had walked that road before me, who could say, you know what, it's going to be hard. And I could believe them because they'd been there. And then they also said, but it's going to be okay. And I could believe that too. And I didn't realize how important that was to me until I went through it myself. And I remember two women who I had known years ago, I had worked with years and years ago, and we hadn't reconnected, and I hadn't thought about reconnecting. They both saw my post and reached out to me and said, we want to take you to coffee and we're going to talk you through this. And they were local, and they did. And we've stayed in touch, and it's one of the most meaningful 2 hours that I've ever had in my life, that they took that time to talk me through everything. And so it doesn't have to be someone you see all the time. It doesn't have to be someone you talk to all the time. But if you have a specific need to either be supported in that area or to have someone understand something you're going through, I highly recommend either, again, just putting it out there, being vulnerable, looking for support groups, those kind of things, because it can be really helpful. But asking yourself, where do you need and want support, I think is really important, because then you'll know where to kind of spend your time and your efforts around making or keeping friends. This one we already covered a little bit, but the next one is just be honest about where you are in life. Be honest about what kind of time commitments you have. Where are you already spending time? If you have extra time to spend, like I know people will say, oh, go do, these extra hiking groups to meet friends. Yes, absolutely. That's in my list of tips here. But if your life is in a busy state, if you are sandwich generation like me, taking care of young kids and taking care of parents, if you're running a business, if you're traveling, you might not have time to also join a hiking group and meet new friends, much less then commit to those friends. Instead, say, what do I have time in? Or maybe what am I kind of already doing? And I'm going to put my efforts towards, supporting and nurturing some friendships there, as opposed to making it extra stressful by also having to add more time to your life. And so I think that's again, really important, is just what do you have time for in your life before really going full force into friendships. Make sure that you are in a place where you have time to nurture them. And it might make the most sense then to nurture friendships that are in your sphere or where you're already spending your time. The next one, my next tip, is not to compare to anyone else. And this goes back to what I said about, truly, I see people on social media posting these big pictures of, 20-year college reunion, all your best friends, which is amazing, by the way, if that's you. I think it's amazing. I have one very, very, very dear friend who I wouldn't trade for the world. That's what I mean. Like, I agree with Brene Brown. I won the lottery with this friend, and she is my best friend from college. But that's my one really, really, really good friend from college. If I went back to a college reunion, yes, I would actually know people. I would say hi. I'd be happy to see them, but I don't stay in long-term touch necessarily with them. So I, though, need to not compare myself to that, because one, that's not my life. It's not worth comparing. And two, a lot of that was my choice. I left college. I moved on. I went to grad school. I had goals. I didn't necessarily nurture those friendships. I'm not blaming myself. I'm saying that was my season of life then. And so to compare doesn't make any sense. So don't compare yourself. Walk your journey, live your life, and what makes sense and what you can do now. My next tip is to use technology. All right, I'm going to tell you about something called Marco Polo, which might seem silly, but it is a game changer for me with my friends who don't, well, even if they did live local, but these are friends who don't live close to me. So Marco Polo is an app. It's a free app, and it's a video app. So you might be saying, why would I need that when I could text? That's what I thought too. Why would I need Marco Polo when I can text? But I will tell you, so two of my very closest friends, who neither of them live here, we will get on Marco Polo. And what you do is you just record yourself talking. You can walk around your house. You can set it up and make dinner, but you record yourself talking. And we will exchange these messages, sometimes 7 or 8 minute long video messages about whatever, what we did that day, or, oh my gosh, my kids went through this. Are your kids going through this? And then I will wait and I'll get one back, 4 or 5 days later. And I feel like I am staying up to date in their life because it's so much more information than a text. It's so much better than a voicemail because I can see their faces. I can see what's going on. Their kids say hi to me in the messages. I highly recommend it if you have a friend who's up for that too. Like, you each have to be on the app, but I have 2 friends who I do it with, and you can do it in groups of 3 or 4. Anyway, it is the best. So use technology in whatever way. Send memes on Instagram. That might seem silly, but do you know what a great connector that is to send memes to each other on Instagram or through text message? Again, it's a little bit of effort, but it shows that you're thinking about that person and that they might think that's funny too. So I highly recommend that. My next tip is if you really are at a point you're like, I need to get myself out there, right? You sense that you're feeling alone, you're feeling isolated. You need to get yourself out there with people. Join a group, join a hiking group, join a gym or a specific workout group, maybe an aqua aerobics group, knitting, neighborhood functions, charity groups, nonprofit groups, networking events, retreats. If you want to go do a retreat, I have seen amazing groups and friendships come out of those. And again, it has to be the right season of life. It is not the right season of life for me to do that because young kids, sports every single day. I'm not at a point I have the capacity to add to that. Some people will absolutely have that capacity. Again, maybe your kids just moved from the house out from high school. Maybe you're in the middle of switching jobs. Maybe you have retired, whatever it is. There are some really great groups out there. For example, I'm going to give you some examples that you can look up. I know someone, again, online who I've watched share this journey. She does have a young kid. She has a really busy job, but she was just feeling a little bit like she wanted to connect to people and she really wanted to learn more about hiking in her area. She joined a hiking group and she is now sharing these amazing hikes that she goes on and trips that she goes on. She's so thankful for the friends she met there. It's truly awesome. Another one, my parents just moved here from Portland, so totally different stage of life. They are downsizing. They moved to be closer to us. They're in a complex and they had amazing friends that they left. They had a great community. And so this new community that they're in, they meet, there's a meeting like every Thursday morning or one morning a week. They kind of meet and just have coffee together. And so my parents are planning to go to that. It's going to be, I'm sure, hard and uncomfortable because it is to meet new people, but they've already been invited. It's 1 hour. They can go and check it out. They can meet people in their neighborhood. They can say hi. They can have a free coffee. That's another great one. You'll have these opportunities again through your neighborhood, through nonprofits is a really great one to do. Volunteer at a local hospital. You will get to know the people there. It will at least maybe change your expectations from finding your new best friend to just saying, you know what, I just kind of want a community. I want to be around some people and I want to laugh and I want to have someone who's going to say hi to me every day, who's going to check in on me if I don't show up to that activity that I signed up for. That's what even workout classes can sometimes do. Or even in our unlimited app, we have a big community section where people will come in and it's not in person, but they can share what workout they did or about their neck pain. And someone else will say, oh my gosh, I had this neck pain and I did this for it. Anything you can do to kind of share in that way, have people who are there for you can be really, really important when it comes to friendships and feeling like you are a part of community. So find the places and then put in the work, right? And then you need to put in the work to show up or to reach out to someone, to get phone numbers. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me tell you this one. I should have had this down as a big tip. You have to sometimes get somebody's number. And I am that one. There's always someone who's asking, and I have decided I am that person because I always respect when someone else asks me for my name. First off, what's your name again? If you forget, ask again. It's okay. But also for your number, it is not hard to share a phone number. or to ask a phone number. And all of a sudden you have a direct connection to someone who you think, I might want to know more about that person. Or, that's the person. Maybe I'll ask if they want to grab a coffee after this meeting that we have. For me, right now in my season of life, it's very much about my kids. So I have my friends, like I mentioned, I'm Marco Poloing them. I have some amazing friends in my Pilates community and like my colleagues who I respect tremendously. And I taught a workshop in March and they were in town and it fed my soul to no end. I can't even tell you how happy it made my soul to see my colleagues and my friends and be able to be with them even for a couple of hours. So I am thankful for all of those communities that I have that extend beyond me, that extend beyond my family. But when it comes to day, my day-to-day time is spent working, and then it is spent with my kids. That is what we're in right now. That is the thick of it. Kids, their friends, their activities, just wanting to be together. And part of that for me, so this is the self-realization, it is very important to me that I know my kids, that I know their friends, and that I know their friends' parents. Again, my expectation isn't they have to be my best friend. That would take a lot and that would be amazing, but I know that doesn't always happen. But can I know them? Can we support each other in whatever way we need? Can I text and say, you know what, we're going to be late to school. Can you let the teacher know, those kind of things? Because I had that at our previous school before we moved. And those friendships are invaluable to me. And I still make the work to reach out to them. But reality is I don't see them as much anymore because we left that community to a new community. So when we came to our new community, it has become my goal that I am the mom that's going to introduce myself to other moms. And I'm the one when our kids join a new team, I am right there saying, hey, I'm Jessica. Which kid is yours? Oh my gosh, they're so great at playing that position. Oh, they had a great goal today. Would you want to share numbers at all just in case anyone's ever late to practice or those kind of things? Like I will be the one to be a little uncomfortable doing that if it's appropriate, because I know that is right now where the importance is for my time and for being able to support my kids. Again, that doesn't mean necessarily that we're going to be best friends. And some of it is being able to let go of that expectation. But if I just expand my community, if I expand my network, then sometimes what I have found is friendships will sprout up, like in sometimes very surprising ways. And there are a couple of moms I can say that I have like individual friendships with now from this new community that I'm so grateful for, that I feel supported, that I feel glad about. And then I have moms from when our kids were really young that are know me even more, right? So it's that deeper friendship from years ago that know me even better. Then I have friendships, like I said, from my college friends. I have friendships with my high school friends who know me before any of these things. And so it's really beautiful and really deep to have friendships from various seasons of life, from different areas of life that you can connect with and reach out to, who even know you in different ways. And then knowing that it is okay sometimes if some of those friendships came during an important time of your life and then passed. And it's okay if some of these new friendships come in and you realize, both of you, after a couple of coffees or a walk, you just kind of realize, you know what, we don't have as much in common as I thought. I'm still going to respect that person, but probably we're not going to get into a deeper friendship. Like I think understanding all of that and having that self-awareness makes the entire process a little bit easier, a little bit lighter. So those are my tips. That's what I have at least experienced through my life as I continue to want to focus on this. I mean, on my dream board, when I think about the year, every single year, community is always one of my top goals. And it can look different. Like I said, sometimes it'll look like our neighborhood in person. Sometimes it looks like my unlimited community and making sure I'm really there for members. Sometimes it looks like my platform as a whole. And I have found myself in the last couple years really wanting to make sure I'm present for that in-person community. I spend so much of my time online, which again, I am so grateful to all of you. I 100% consider you a part of my community. And also, there is something that nourishes me when I am out walking with our kids after dinner and a neighbor walks by and we can wave and have that 10-minute in-person conversation. And so I'm really looking to both, and I really kind of spend my time and my awareness on both. And how can I be a good community member? How can I be a good friend? How can I build new friendships? What does that look like? How can I model that for my kids? But also, how can I stay true to who I am and the needs that I have within all of that? So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I wish you and all of us loving and close friendships, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for listening today. I would love it if you could take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. It means a lot to us, and it helps our content get out to more women who need it. You can find more of my resources at my website, jessicavalant.com, or find me on YouTube at Jessica Valant and Instagram at Jessica S. Valant.